What's the best camera setup? The truth is, there's no universal answer. You can have the most expensive setup on the market, but if you don't know how to shape light, how to expose for mood, or how to tell a story visually, the final image won't hold up. The right gear shouldn't just function, it should empower you. When your ideas are being held back by your tools, that's the clearest signal it's time to invest, because creativity thrives when gear gets out of the way and lets you chase the images that's in your head. At the end of the day, the ideal camera setup isn't about chasing specs or brand names. It's about fit. Fit for your budget so that you're investing wisely and see a return on your investment. Fit for your workflow so that your tools work with you, not against you. And fit for your creativity so nothing stands in the way of your story. It's so important to build your setup around what actually helps you create. Tools that serves your process, equipment that amplifies your vision, and a system that gives you the confidence to perform under pressure.